Hello everybody, so today let's look again at more stuff connected to pops, particles and collisions. So in the last lesson we looked at this one where we set up three different pieces of geometry and we had these particles that will collide with them and then roll off into the world of Never Never, right? But you'll notice one thing. They all have the same physical properties. Watch how it hits there, doesn't bounce, it just slides off. Same here, same here. But let's say, for example, I want this one to just slide off, I want this one to bounce, I want this one to, have more friction on it, etc., etc. Well, how can I do that? This can be a bit tricky. First of all, I've got this piece here which is my out box, or should really be an out collision, right? And then I open up in here and I can go to my static object and I see that this is where this is connected in, which puts in all three pieces. So let's go into my physical and I can see here that I've got no bounce, no friction. So I want to make this one bounce a bit. Let's do that. Let's increase the bounce. Ooh, that's quite high, so let's make it about there. Okay, good bounce, but it's bouncing off everything. I just want it to bounce on this one, not on everything. So how can I do that? Well, under this current setup, it's just not possible. So let me go back. I want to make this on 0 and I'm going to make this one, let's call this static object here. Let's call this box 1. Alright, so we know what it is. Now, in order to do this, I need different points of reference. So I've got my null here, but I want to move it now here. I only want it to affect them physical properties. I only want it to affect that one piece of geometry. And as you can see now, because I've moved that and my outbox is connected to that static object there, it's only now connecting the box. If I move it to here, it's now connecting to everything. Alright, and a good way to maybe look at this now is if I disconnect this here. See, I don't actually need that connection. I've only put it there just so that we can get a better view as to what's going on here. Now there might be a reason why this has got to be connected. In fact, I know there's a reason why that sometimes is connected, but in this particular setup it's really not necessary. So I'm going to leave that disconnected just for now, rather than it being something symbolic, and I'm going to move this again back to the first piece. There we go, right? And now we've just got the first box 01. I want to add the second box, so let's put that in there, that null, and a third one, and this is not a box, was it? It was a what? Oh my good god, it was this word, wasn't it? Isosahedron. Alright, and isosahedron. Okay, whatever. Anyway, you know what that is. It's this shape here. Alright, good-o. I'm sure somebody's going to make a comment about that. Alright, so I've now merged all these things in together. Again, they don't really need to be, actually. I could, in fact, separate all of these. Let me do that, in fact. And I will still get the same result. Why is that not separating? There we go, that's better. Alright, so let's go into here now. I've got my first box. I now want to create a second object. And I've got box 2 pop up and I need to change it here. So now I've got box 2 and I'm going to add it to my merge. There we go, got it. Let's add another one. Okay, and this was this isosahedron. Alright, this is this one here. And I'm going to add this to here. My isosahedron. So remember, it's sausage with a hedron. God, I need to shut up talking total rubbish. Alright, so now I've got this one. So now you can see I've got all my three parts in here. boop, boop. All right, just looks exactly the same. But let's say I want this one to have a good bounce on it. So let me go into here now. I can add my physical and I just increase my bounce. Let's make it maybe 0.8. See what happens now? Well, hey, now I'm getting a bounce. All right, so you see this one just hits and slides. That's this one here with, let me stop that, with, I just want to keep that up on the screen a minute, with 0 bounce. This one here has 0.8 bounce, so I'm getting some bounce. Of course, I'm now missing this. So let me go back to here, pop that there. And I want to, I think, move this. So let's select that movement there. And I want to move it underneath here. All right. Okay, let's try this. I should be getting that moved. What did I do wrong there? All right. I forgot to reset the timeline. All right, that was a bit bizarre there, but okay, we're done. Now let's see what happens when it hits this. Boop, boop. And not a lot, right? It just hits there and nothing much happens. Let's add maybe a little bit of bounce to that. Okay, here we go, and a bit more bounce. Let's do a bit more of that. Let's make it really wild. Let's go 0.9. And hey, all right. So you can see how we're managing to control these all slightly differently. I think this time I'll just reduce the bounce to 0, and I might change the friction. Yeah, okay. Let's make the friction a bit tighter. Maybe around here. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that's quite good. I quite like that. All right, so you can see now I've got different properties for each object. So what I want to do is just tidy this up a bit. This setup is absolutely fine. I can merge all of these in together. There's no problem at all. I just find it's a little bit hard to read. So what I would do is I will pop these all like this, create another merge node. Okay, select all of these 3 and add them to here. All right, if you hit the Y key, you can just delete those. All right, and let's add this to the merge, and then I'm going to hit Shift R to switch them round. Okay, we're good. And now I can see that it's quite simple to see how these are put together. I can see my static objects and they're all connected here into this part. I might even move this down a bit because I'm just a fussy boy. All right, there we go. Now there's only one more thing I want to look at here, and that is this stepping thing again. See how I've got this strange step-in thing. Let me get rid of that a moment. Right, okay. There's the steps. Here it's stepping a bit too, you can see, slightly. There we go, there. I want to get rid of that, so let's change my sub-steps. We looked at this in the last lesson, how to do that. Let's see how that looks now. It's of course slower, but I now have, oh, still slightly steppy. Let's go higher again, maybe to 6 sub-steps. See how that looks. Okay, that's much better, right? But of course we're losing on some speed there. If you're not sure what this sub-steps is, please just go back to the previous lesson and we talk about it in there. All right, so that's it. Now you can see how you can set these up differently in order to check each physical property and change that for each individual object. I hope I've done that right anyway. Another thing you might want to do here, again it makes 0 difference, but just for visualization's sake, you might want to merge them in together and add these to the popnet. It makes no difference at all in terms of the output that you're going to get here or the quality of the simulation, but it might again just be a little bit easier for you to visualize. Again, totally your decision which one you want to do there. All right, good luck, guys. I know this is a little bit complicated at the moment, but I'll be back very soon with another lesson, and you guys have a great day.